Good morning, everyone. It's the day after daylight savings time, and it has really messed me up. I'm so tired right now, but we're gonna go ahead and push through because we have another little Louise Henderson souvenir cookbook to look at. Now, this one was a little bit, well, I'll get into that when I start looking at the review. But because of reasons I'll, share with you in a little bit, I ended up picking something a little bit odd. So we're actually going to make donuts. I've never made donuts before, so this could be an extreme disaster or something really good. I have no idea how this is gonna go, but the recipe for the donuts looked really interesting, so I thought we would try one of them. So I've got all the ingredients laid out, but before we get started, I want to show you something. I'm sure some of you will remember this as the cabinet of chaos. But look what me and Mitch did one weekend. Doesn't that look so much better? You can actually see what I have. Everything's in its own little nook. Also, you can see where I have a major salt problem. I love different kinds of salt. So after I found all of these, no more. I'm not allowed to buy any until all this is used up, which will be probably to the time that I'm elderly. So we got plenty of that. We also did the other side. Look at that, how much better that looks. I can actually see what I have over on this side too. So this is gonna be a big help. Now, that doesn't mean that there's not going to be some Cabinet of Chaos videos coming up, because I still gotta use the stuff that's in there before it expires. So we're going to be doing some interesting videos on whatever comes out of that cabinet. And I also have some fun ideas for some other Monday episodes that'll be coming up. So we kind of took a little bit of a break on Monday videos due to some crazy schedules that I had all of a sudden with like all the gardening things and meetings and all this other stuff coming up of this gardening group that I'm part of. But it's calmed down a little bit, so we're hopefully going to get back on track. So let's go ahead and get those donuts started, because I'm really excited to see if I can pull one off, and I really want to try one. So I went ahead and got a few things done before we really get started. I've separated the eggs. We've got our 1 egg white and we've got our 3 egg yolks. And then I also went ahead and peeled and diced up the potatoes. I've got them boiled. They're done. All I have to do is drain and mash them to get the 1 cup of mashed potatoes. So let's go ahead and get that ready, and then we can get started for real. Now I've got the shortening and sugar in there. I will turn that on and let that cream, and then I will add the eggs. But before I do that, I wanted to show you what I'm going to use to cut these out. Now I don't actually have a donut cutter, but I do have all these different sized rings. So I'm going to be using probably this size, and then take this little one and then put it in the middle, and that will be our donut. I'll probably go ahead and also fry what this makes and make little donut holes so we're not wasting any of the dough. Now, if you don't have either one of these or the actual donut cutter, you may be able to just drop them by spoonfuls to make a fritter. I think that would also be pretty tasty. But if you can get these, you can also use these for biscuits and scones and all kinds of other things. They come in really handy. So let's go ahead. I'm going to turn that on, and we're going to get at least the first portion of this dough made. And that's what it looks like with all the eggs incorporated in the shortening and sugar. So now we need to go ahead and add our milk and our mashed potatoes. So after we add these two, I'm going to let this go ahead and mix a little more. And then we will switch to the overhead because we need to get our dry ingredients together. We'll start with our flour. We've got 3 teaspoons of baking powder. We've got our salt. Now I'm going to substitute allspice for the mace because I'm just trying to use up what I have. But if you've got mace, go ahead and use that. And then we've got our nutmeg. I'm going to give this a mix together and then we'll be able to add it to our wet ingredients. Now I added all that flour to our wet mixture and I think we've got ourselves a dough. So we're going to be ready to roll that out. I've already had a pretty deep little pan of oil heating up. You can probably use lard or Crisco or something like that, but I'm going to use canola because that's what I have on hand. And then after I get done, because I don't want to waste all that oil, I will strain it, put it in a jar, and we'll reuse it for other frying projects. And now all we have to do is start the rolling out and cutting process. We only need to go about a 1/2 inch in thickness, which I'm pretty bad at guesstimating things like that. So we're just gonna do our best. I'm really curious now. I think this is a 1/2 inch. I'm gonna see how well I did. Okay, I must be better than I thought because that is right on a 1/2 inch. So we're good to cut these out. We'll start with the big one first. Center the little one. That looks about right. Oh, it was a little crooked, but that's okay. And I'm going to use one of these little ones to see if that oil is actually ready. All right, let's test this out and see what happens. Okay, not sure. It looks ready to me. It's doing a lot of bubbling. I'm going to let this one go all the way to the end and see if it's going to be cooked or not. Okay, it floated to the top and it's doing pretty good. I'm going to let that go a little bit longer to get it nice and browned. I also have some sugar here. They recommended rolling it in sugar or putting it in a glaze. I'm not really crazy about glazed donuts, so I'm just going to do this plain sugar. I'm going to go ahead and drop all of these in there, and in the meantime I will be re-rolling my scraps so I can cut out more donuts. I'm thinking these are done. I'm going to go ahead and scoop them out. Let them drain a little bit. And put them right in that sugar. We'll roll them around a little bit. They smell really good too with that nutmeg and allspice in them. Now I'm going to move them over here on this paper towel, and I think those look really good, so let's go ahead and add some big ones. Now this last little scrap of dough here, not really big enough to, cut out, so I'm just going to shape it into a roughly round shape. And then just cut out the middle. So it's going to be a little bit of an ugly one, but at least we didn't waste any of the dough. And we've got some of the big donuts floating on top. I went ahead and flipped them so that they get nice and browned on both sides. But these are looking really good, almost ready to roll in that sugar. And before our big taste test, let's go ahead and take a closer look at this cookbook to see if it's something you might want to pick up. You can see that this little cookbook was actually picked up at Silver Dollar City. Now, Silver Dollar City was actually the name of Dollywood before Dolly Parton bought it. I'm going to show you a few pictures here, hopefully, of the original. And this is exactly the kind of place that you would have found these little souvenir cookbooks. Now, of course, we have some salads and slaws in the front. We have some vegetables, which I'm not really sure why mint sauce is listed in here. But there you go. You've got some Chinese rice and mint sauce in the vegetables, which I thought was kind of funny. You have some fairly straightforward recipes, like here you've got Boston baked beans. So, you know, it's not really anything too original or out there, which is kind of why me and Mitch had a bit of a hard time picking what we wanted to do out of this cookbook. We knew we didn't want to do chicken livers, but some of these other recipes didn't really look all that inviting. They didn't look, you know, any different than some of the other things that we've done on the channel, and so we were really kind of hard pressed to see what did we want to taste test out of here. And so when we got to the breads and realized that we'd actually never done a donut, either, you know, for me just cooking or on the channel, we decided to go ahead and pick one of these just so we could have something that was different. You can see we had quite a few donut recipes to pick from, but we decided on this potato donuts because you don't have to let the dough rise. You can immediately fry it and eat it all the quicker. So we've got some other little cute things in here, like Dutch fritters that probably would have been good. Some coffee cakes and banana breads. We do have some canning recipes like she's had in some of her other ones, like the lazy housewife pickles. Mustard pickles might be pretty good. We've got a recipe here for hard soap if you wanted to try that. So there you go on that one. Like I said, it wasn't like too exciting or too different from the other ones that we've done, but I would still say that there's some cute things in here to try, some tasty things, and overall I'm not upset that I picked it up. You know, probably just wouldn't turn to this one as much as some of my other ones. All right, Mitch has 2 minutes from work, so we're gonna go ahead and let him have the first try. Ooh, went for a big one.
Yeah, the most sugar.
Well?
Almost tastes like pumpkin-y.
Oh, did you say pumpkin-y?
Yeah, like pumpkin pie-ish almost.
Yeah, well, that's the allspice and the nutmeg in it.
Ah, okay. But yeah, it's like kind of a like pumpkin cake kind of donut. It's really good.
Good.
Yeah.
I was a little bit worried because they seem kind of heavy and dense.
They are heavy and dense. Like, I don't know if I should have got a whole donut now.
I know. Especially so close to our actual lunchtime, but
I'll make up for it later.
So, is this something that you would want to try again?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Good. All right. Okay, so that's one taste test down. It's going to be my turn, and we'll have the final verdict. So at least we have one that really likes it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So have fun back at work. Take your donut with you. And I'll see you in like 30 minutes for lunch.
Yep.
Now, since we are so close to lunch, I'm just going to try one of the small ones. That is so good. It really is like a pumpkin spice in a donut, but it's not too strong. I don't think it's one of those things where you'll bite into it and regret it. The spice is just right. Now, it's not super sweet. I feel like it's just sweet enough. I think it's that perfect level with that little bit of sugar on it. But if you want something super sweet, I would recommend going ahead and glazing them. I think those would be perfect with a cup of tea, of course, or coffee. This is a great breakfast pastry, or just an anytime pastry because they're so good. And I'm actually pretty impressed with how easy it was to throw these together. I thought it was going to be a lot more involved, kind of tricky, you know, maybe leave you in the kitchen for a long time trying to get these together. But none of that was true. It was actually super simple. You know, I've got some dishes to do, but you know, that's kind of par for the course when you're frying. And it really didn't take that long at all. So I had these done pretty much in about an hour. And that was also with me having to move the camera around. So there we go. Another Louise Henderson, done and dusted, as the British say. And I'm very impressed with this recipe. We'll definitely make these again. And I really hope you try them because I think you're really going to be surprised at how good they are. So thanks for watching this one, and stay tuned for next week because we will have another Louise Henderson cookbook. And I'm excited to try this one because it's Aunt Lou's Southern recipes. So that's gotta be pretty good. Stay tuned for that, and thanks for watching this time. See you later. Bye.
And if you like historical cooking and unusual cookbooks, here's 2 more videos you might enjoy. And make sure to like and subscribe for more foodie adventures.